Okay, let's try to do some practice, more practice on addition and subtraction formulas. Let's have a look at these questions. Well, it says evaluate each expression under the given conditions. What do we have in question 55, for example? He's asking us to find cosine theta minus phi. Theta minus phi, so these are two angles. Cosine difference, so we can use cosine cosine plus sine sine. What's given for us here? It says cosine theta equals 3 over 5 and theta in fourth quadrant. Tan phi equals negative radical 3 and phi is in the second quadrant. So if we know that cosine theta means cosine theta sine phi minus or plus sine theta sine phi, this means that we will need sine for theta and we need to get sine and cosine of phi. So how would I do this? We have more than one way. I prefer the easy way actually. Let's say I'm gonna talk about number 55. Again, what's given for us here? What's he's asking us? He's asking us to find cosine theta minus phi. We have the formula cosine theta cosine phi plus sine theta sine phi. Now, what is given and what is missing? Cosine theta is given and it's equal to 3 over 5, and he said that theta is in the fourth quadrant. Theta is in the fourth quadrant and cosine theta 3 over 5. Now, how am I gonna do this? Well, the best thing to do here is to draw a triangle. Right triangle, of course. And what's given for us is theta. Cosine is 3 over 5. We have a missing side here. Let's say A or B, whatever. By Pythagorean theorem, since this is a right triangle, 25 equals A squared plus 9, so A equals 4. That's a special right triangle, which means sine theta will be equal to 4 over 5, and we are in the fourth quadrant, so sine should be negative. This is the missing part that we have, and same thing we should do for phi. What's given for phi here? What's given for phi is it's in the second quadrant, and tan phi equals negative radical 3. So another right triangle. And phi, right triangle, tan phi is radical 3. Of course, negative is related to the quadrant, so we cannot plot it on the triangle. So radical 3 over 1, so the opposite is radical 3. The adjacent is 1. Again, by applying Pythagorean theorem, we're looking for C. C squared equals 3 plus 1, which is 4. So C equals 2. Okay, so this means sine phi is equal to radical 3 over 2. Cosine phi is equal to 1 over 2, and we are in which quadrant he said phi? Phi is in the second quadrant, so sine is positive, cosine is negative. Now we can apply the formula. We have everything that we need. Cosine theta minus phi. Again, the formula was cosine the first, cosine the second, opposite sign, sine the first, sine the second. So cosine theta, that was given 3/5 times cosine phi, it's -½ plus sine theta, which is -4/5 times sine phi, which is positive radical 3/2. What does this equal to? -3 minus 4 radical 3 all over 10. And that's it. Same thing can be done for other questions.